Hello, we're going to look at how we can use Macromedia Dreamweaver to create a simple web page. So we click on ZenWorks, click on ICT, and then Macromedia Dreamweaver is this green blob here. When we first open it up, depending on if you've used it before, but the very first time you use it, you should get a box that appears like this with a green heading at the top. And depending on what you want to do, you can choose one of these options. We're going to create a brand new HTML page to put our work on. So we're going to click on HTML here. What first appears when you first go into it, I've been into this before, will be this big white blank page. Now this doesn't show you the HTML code on it. So we want to look at the code because that's what we're learning. So we click on this tab here that says Show Code View. Now, when we're in it here, you can see it gives you some boilerplate or some basic code that's in there already. You can ignore this first line here, which tells you that what kind of a document type it's going to be. So just ignore that. Here we've got the opening of our HTML tag. Now you'll see that right at the bottom, you've got the closing HTML tag. Now notice all HTML tags, the closing tag looks exactly the same as the opening, except right at the beginning, can you see there is a /. So this means that this is the closing of this opening tag. Inside the HTML tag, we've got two main areas. We've got this area here, which is the head area, and this area here, which is the body. Now you are going to be typing all your code in between these two body tags, so in between here. So what you'll need to do is just put a few spaces in there, and all your code is going to go in this area here. A quick word about the head tag. We've got an opening head tag there and a closing head tag there. Inside there, we've got some other bits that you don't need to worry about. The meta tag, you can just leave that or delete it. It won't make any difference at this point. And then inside the title tag is what the whole title of the document is. This is not the heading. This will appear as the tab in our browser. So I'm going to now change this. I'm going to call this UK weather. Okay. Now we can basically leave the head alone for now. And I'm going to create inside my body tag, I'm going to create just two items. So one is going to be a heading, which is an H1 tag. So I open the tag up. Now you'll see that, did you see that as I was typing, again, H1, as I'm typing, Dreamweaver gives you this options down here. So if you can't remember how something's spelt or you want to investigate some other tags, it gives you a bit of a help there as all the different options there. So that's why I quite like Dreamweaver. So I'll complete that H1 and I'll close this tag. Now this is the opening heading tag. So I am going to call this page Welcome to my page on UK weather. So because I've opened an H1 tag, I'm now going to close it. So exactly the same as the opening tag, except there is a /. Oops. Did you see that I didn't have to type in H1? Dreamweaver filled it in for me. So that's my heading. That's a paragraph tag. So that's a little P tag there. I'm going to say this page will tell you all about weather in the United Kingdom. Close it. Watch what happens. There you go. It's closed my P tag. Okay, that'll do for now. Very, very simple page. So Dreamweaver has a really neat trick. If I press F12, it will ask me to save the page. So I'm going to say, yes, I want to save it. Okay, ignore that error. And I'm going to stick it in my home directory, H:, and I should have already created a folder called ICT. It was there. And I've already created a folder called, well, I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to call it CSS. Okay. And then I'm going to save it in there. I might just call this one weather.html. Now the good thing is it's saving it, but also it'll preview it. Unfortunately, it previews it in Internet Explorer, but I can't change that at the moment. But as you can see, it's now saying the heading says, welcome to my page on UK weather, and that's my little paragraph. Okay, quite simple at the moment, but I'm not worried about that. I'll minimize that. So what we also looked at in the lesson was creating an image on this page. So the tag for that, actually, let's go and find our image first of all. So I am going to go and find an image really quickly on Google Images. I'm going to look for weather UK. Let's see what actually comes up. Oh yeah, that's not a very good search. Here we go. I like this one here. So I am going to right click. I'm going to choose Save Image As. I am going to make sure it's in the same folder as my page I've just created. So it's in what did I call it? CSS3. I'm just navigating my way through there. At the moment it says no items match my search, but that's because there are no other images here. I am going to call this UK .jpeg image, and I'm just going to save it. So there's my copy of that image there. So coming back to my page, the tag for creating an image is slightly different to these other tags we've looked at because it doesn't have a closing tag. It just exists on its own. And the tag for that is open angle bracket IMG. And then we need to give it the source of that file. So I need to tell it what that file name was that I've just downloaded. And it's src, not scr. Okay. Press equals. Now the great thing about Dreamweaver is as soon as I type in my quotes, you see this little browse button. And then I can actually navigate, which is great. If you've forgotten what your file name was, you can navigate to the right place. That one was called uk.jpg. It gives me a little preview. I can say OK, and then it finishes the quotes. OK. Now I can then just finish that whole tag, and I only typed in the closing angle bracket, but it put this little closing tag in there for me as well. So again, press F12, save, say yes, and there you go. There's my heading, there's my paragraph, and there's my image. Now, the next part of the lesson was to look at how we can add some simple CSS, because at the moment this whole bit of code is just HTML. So we'll do that in the next video.